Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel today for the fourth time since the deadly October 7th attacks. His visit coincides with Israeli forces saying they struck several Hamas targets in Gaza overnight. The military also claims to have completely encircled Gaza City. In the meantime, the U.S. is pushing for a humanitarian pause in the fighting. Some groups of injured Palestinians and foreign nationals have been evacuated from Gaza through the Rafah crossing to Egypt, but the numbers are limited. At the same time, Israel sent back to Gaza thousands of Palestinians who had work permits in Israel and the West Bank. Secretary Blinken met with Israel's prime minister and president today. He also met with some of Israel's military leaders. He says the U.S. stands by Israel, but it also needs to look toward the future.
I've returned to the region to engage in intense diplomacy with our partners to try to help ensure that an attack like October 7th never happens again. And in doing so, that we forge a different future, a very different future for Israelis and Palestinians alike. That out of this tragedy emerges a better tomorrow for both peoples and for the region.
CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio joins us now from Tel Aviv, Israel. Ramy, Israeli ground forces say they have encircled Gaza City. How significant is this development for the war on Hamas?
Hi there, Lana. Yes, this is both physical as well as psychological for both sides, for Israel as well as for Hamas. The physical side for Israel is the fact that now they are starting this kind of guerrilla warfare engagement with Hamas, something that they have tried to not do, that they know this is a massive challenge within the small alleys and streets of Gaza City. But it's also psychological both for Israel and Hamas. The fact that Israel is now in the biggest city in the Gaza Strip. By some accounts, it has as many as more than 500,000 people. Unsure how many are there now because of the call out for people to move south. But the people that are left, it's understood, those are the Hamas fighters, the Hamas militants, who are not so much now above ground as we've been reporting, but likely very below ground in the tunnel complexes there. And again, this speaks back to the warfare, the guerrilla warfare nature that both Israel and Hamas likely are engaging in as we speak.
And Ramy, protesters gathered outside of one of Secretary Blinken's stops there in Israel. You were there. What more can you tell us about what you saw?
Sure. The families of the hostages that were at this protest earlier today had gathered outside the Hakiria. Now, this is the main defense complex in Tel Aviv. Some people liken it to the Pentagon for Israel. And they were out there with signs demanding, now, return our families home, find our missing loved ones. We know that there are more than 200, by some accounts 242, our last number that we've heard. People are held hostage or are missing, and they have said, these families all say, that they do not want a ceasefire until all of their loved ones are home together. Now, we've been talking also to other people, and they say, listen, as long as our loved ones come home, we're fine with the ceasefire. We're fine with the Palestinian prisoners by 6,000, the count that we understand are held here in Israel, to go back into Gaza. But for Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister's part, he said that there will be no ceasefire, no ceasefires on the table at all now, and they're going to push full force ahead.
And Ramy, we've heard these really incredible stories about people leaving Gaza into Egypt. What more do we know?
Sure. At last count, we know that there are at least 78 Americans who have made it, who have escaped out of the Gaza Strip through the southern crossing at Rafah and safely into Egypt. Now, we also understand that the U.S. State Department believes there are about 400 Americans. On top of that, if you add their immediate family, that rises to about 1,000. And then if you add anyone who's a foreign national holding a foreign passport, we've heard estimates come in at 4,000 to 5,000, up to what Egypt says is that they're expecting up to about 7,000 people. But the journeys we're hearing are very harrowing. People taking several hours from what should normally take during peacetime maybe an hour to drive halfway down the Gaza Strip. And while these people are driving, they're being subjected to Israeli missiles, attacks, and then finally getting to the border, and many of them getting through, but a lot of people also not having the proper documentation, the passports, and being told they have to wait or they have to turn back.
All right, Ramy and Inocencio, thank you. CBS News reporter Christina Ruffini also joins us now. Christina, let's talk about Blinken back in the Middle East again. What can you tell us about this trip?
This is his third trip in almost as many weeks. This trip was originally scheduled to be a swing through Asia, and they tacked on another Mideast swing on top of it. He's really got three goals. He's trying to push for what the administration is calling a humanitarian pause, what the rest of the world is likely calling a ceasefire. But there's a very fine line the administration is trying to walk there, saying we are asking the Israelis to pause in an effort to get more humanitarian aid in, but we don't want to tell the Israelis what to do because they have a right to defend themselves. That's what we've heard from the administration, because reporters have pressed them several times on why not ask for a ceasefire. And the response to that from the White House, from the State Department, has been, it's not on us to tell Israel what to do, but we are pressing for humanitarian pause so that more aid can get in. They're also pressing for more protections for civilians. We heard Blinken speaking about his emotions when he sees these Palestinian children being pulled from the rubble. He said there how he would feel when he would see any child of any nationality pulled for the rubble, and that there need to be more protections for these civilians. The other thing that the U.S. is now starting to have to focus on is if Israel somehow succeeds in going in and completely eradicating Hamas, which is a big if, and if they manage to do that, keep in mind, Hamas is the de facto government of that area of Gaza. So in a power vacuum, what does the day after that look like? Who is going to run that territory? Who is going to provide services for the people who live there? And that's a very important question, and one that the U.S. and other governments are starting to try to focus on and build some sort of consensus, not just with Israel, but with Arab partners in the region.
And Christina, this is the first time that we've heard U.S. officials discuss violence in the West Bank. How significant is this?
It's a big deal, and the phrasing that Blinken used was a big deal as well. You know, we heard it from the spokesperson at the State Department at the podium, but to hear Blinken talk about it in Israel is significant. He said he's gotten a clear commitment from the Israeli government to deal with what Blinken called extremist violence in the West Bank, and he's referring to Israeli on Palestinian violence there from settlers. He says they're going to condemn it. He's asked them to take action to prevent it and to take action against those who perpetuated these crimes. And he said the U.S. will be looking closely to ensure that, quote, our friends make good on that commitment.
All right, Christina Ruffini, thank you.